Special edition from the Star in Frisco, and what has been a special start to the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Now 4-1. They've won 4 straight without Dak Prescott at quarterback, and they've beaten the Cincinnati Bengals, reigning AFC champions. They've defeated the Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams. They've beaten good teams, but it doesn't get any easier. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the docket, and they're the last undefeated team in the NFL. Welcome in, everybody. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans here with 3 former Cowboys as we break down what happened in L.A. at SoFi Stadium and what will happen at Lincoln Financial Field coming up this week against the Eagles. But let me start with this, Isaiah. What did you learn from the Cowboys' 22-10 win over the Rams this week?
That you can handle a team that has high talent players. I mean, you think about Cooper Kupp, you think about Aaron Donald, you think about big gains in the middle, Bobby Wagner, Ramsey. You took care of all these guys, and you came back the victor.
Yeah, to me, it's the way that this team was able to put a complete victory together. You talk about special teams getting the block punt, defense playing outstanding, and that offense out there running the football like champions. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of games in this league.
You said it, Barry. They imposed their will on the Rams, and that's what I like. When you can be a willful like that and running the ball and very, very physical.
Let's talk about Micah Parsons. He was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week because of his performance against the Rams. 2 sacks. He had a forced fumble late in the game, and he was even playing injured. He wasn't a whole 100% Micah Parsons. What has he meant to this defense, and what has been such a great start to the season for that unit?
He's relentless. Micah Parsons is relentless. He's the heartbeat of this defense. We understand that. And he is obviously an amazing talent, but he's a man that single-handedly can raise up the bar of this entire unit. And when he's playing at his best, or even when he's playing at 70% with a pool growing, he still can go out there and make some plays for you.
Yeah, this guy's a flat-out stud. I mean, he's a mismatch nightmare for any offensive lineman out there with his speed and his bendability to get off the edge. And like you mentioned, he opened up everything else for the rest of this defense. The defensive line gets more one-on-ones because of the attention going to Micah Parsons. And in the secondary, with his ability to rush the passer, it makes the secondary's job that much easier because they don't have to cover as long. So to me, the sky's the limit for this man and this defense overall.
He's a Band-Aid. He's the ultimate Band-Aid, man. When somebody running free back there, don't worry. He's got the sack or the pressure. When somebody misses a block, don't worry. He's making the tackle. He's the ultimate Band-Aid.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and that defense was fantastic against the run. Just 38 yards allowed on the ground, whereas the Dallas offense finished with 163 yards on the ground. They were able to rely through all 4 quarters on Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, and the only offensive touchdown of the game came from Tony Pollard, 57 yards out. Nate, what impressed you about that run game?
Oh, I loved it because Kellen Moore put in his mind that he was going to run it. He was going to make their will, the Cowboys, to run the ball, the #1 priority. Zeke softened them up, and all of a sudden, Tony Pollard changed of pace, took it 57 yards. I love it.
I love the fact, the versatility that Kellen Moore is utilizing. It's like having a dually truck, and it's like having a sports car. You got the best of both worlds. Obviously you can have the guy that can handle all the weight and do all the dirty work, and then you have a little change of pace. On the weekends, you want to go out there and splurge a little bit in Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Tony Pollard was the explosiveness. He owns the 4 longest plays from scrimmage this season for the Dallas Cowboys, all with number 20 toting the rock. When we come back here on Special Edition, we hear from Stephen Jones one-on-one with Nick Eatman, the Cowboys COO, on the future of this team heading into Week 6.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Reliant, an NRG company. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Salvation Army. Love Beyond.
There's been some roster movement for the Dallas Cowboys over the last couple of weeks, so Stephen Jones has had a busy month as the Cowboys sit at 4-1 and a chance to take over first place in Philadelphia. He sat down with our very own Nick Eatman.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Eatman here with Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. And Stephen, is 4-game winning streak going up to Philadelphia. This just starts right there. They're undefeated. It doesn't usually take much to get this rivalry brewing, but when you get 2 of the best teams in the NFL, hottest teams, it's even better, right?
Well, it is, and we certainly have put ourselves in a great position after a very difficult start. Obviously, not playing our best game to kick off against the Buccaneers and losing Dak, in the same game. So But my hat's off to Coach McCarthy, his coaching staff, our players, the job that they've done, and the focus they've put into this season. And, you know, really got us at a point now where this is a big game. As you said, you really don't need a whole lot to get the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys rivalry going. I mean, it's all there for the making anyway. But as you said, you know, two of the hotter teams in the league right now. Certainly, Philly's the only undefeated team. So we'll have our hands full. But obviously, their quarterback's doing a great job for them. Jalen is, and they've got a very tough defense. They've got a great running game. We've got our hands full, but at the same time, you know, we feel like we're just getting better.
You talk about an influential voice in the locker room. We didn't really think that Dak Prescott would be considered that type of guy either, because he is obviously the starter. But you guys made a decision when he was injured to keep him on the roster so he could be a part of things and help out Cooper Rush. Seems like he's done that and then some.
Well, there's no question. I mean, Dak's and not that he doesn't have a list this long in terms of what he brings to the table, whether it's his skills, whether it's his leadership, his work ethic. He checks all the boxes, and certainly when he's not able to be out on the field, he's shown what kind of leader he is. He's been right there for Cooper, for the offense, the defense, the special teams. You know, he's a real influence. At the same time, we just felt like you don't take any chances if he can come back a game early. You know, we wanted him out there involved in practice, being a part of the team. And if he happened to come back early, then that's great. But at the same time, we all know this is a long season. As I mentioned to start the show, our group, our organization, from the coaches to the players right on down, have done a great job of, really getting us to where we are right now, and certainly don't want to jeopardize anything with Dak if it means rushing him back. We're in a great spot right now. We've got a huge game against the Eagles coming up, but we like where we are.
I can't let you go without talking about who I think is the best player in your team, and certainly one of the best player on this defense, and Micah Parsons. Does he just amaze you every single week with the stuff that he does?
No question. I mean, he's just like a video game. He's just fun to watch, and when you just catch yourself every time he's out on the field dialing in on number 11 and seeing what he's going to do next. But I will say, he checked another box when he goes out there and plays with an injury, plays at a high level, and, really was a big part of helping us beat the Rams the other day. So, so far there hadn't been a box he couldn't check, and that didn't change in L.A. against the Rams.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Kyle, back to you.
Thank you very much, Nick. You can hear the entire interview with Stephen Jones, brought to you by Texas Lotto on DallasCowboys.com. So far this season, the Cowboys defense has dethroned Matthew Stafford. They've taken down Joe Burrow. They've slowed down Daniel Jones. How do they combat Jalen Hurts, who's off to an MVP caliber start to the season? We'll talk about it when we come back on Special Edition.
This segment was brought to you by Salvation Army. Love Beyond. This segment is brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas.
I don't know if there's any atmosphere like when we play the Eagles. Even if it's here or there, especially at night. So it's going to be electric in the stadium, and the emotions are going to be high, and it's going to be a fun environment.
Zeke putting it very nicely of what Philadelphia is going to look like on Sunday Night Football. On NBC, it is going to be hostile. It'll be intimidating, and certainly the pressure will be on with the nation watching this matchup in Week 6. Back on Special Edition, Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. And this Philadelphia offense has been phenomenal to this point. One of just two teams in the NFL since 1940 to have 2,000 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns in the first 5 games of the season. They can run the rock, and they do so behind Jalen Hurts. What type of challenge does he bring to the table?
Everything. I mean, these guys run what they call RPO. That's a run pass option, and what that provides is a lot of opportunity for these guys to either throw bubble screens, to throw slant routes, to throw screen plays to Goddard. Miles Sanders can run the ball, or Jalen Hurts just simply pull the ball and run. So you're really caught in the bind whether or not you want to play zone, whether you want to play man, if you want to come downhill, be aggressive. Do you blitz? Do you sit back? Do you spy them? They present a lot of problems in that regard because you just don't know what to do, and you're often left in no man's land.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been playing extremely impressive football throughout these first 5 weeks. And what's impressed me the most is his development as a quarterback. I mean, we all knew he could do damage on the ground with his legs, but right now he's throwing the ball extremely well. I mean, he's 7th in the National Football League in total passing yards, and he's 9th in QBR. So to me, this Cowboys defense, they have to keep their head on the swivel because he can do it on the ground and through the air. They're going to have their hands full with Mr. Hurts and this explosive Eagles offense.
Be responsible. Stay in your gaps. Be where you're supposed to be. Hey, if we spy Jalen Hurts, let's stay on him. Don't just freelance, because if you do, this team will hurt you.
And they've got weapons on the outside as well. You talk about A.J. Brown in his first year in Philadelphia. He looks like a top 5 receiver in the NFL. And then Devontae Smith, the former Heisman Trophy winner and first-round draft pick, he looks the part there as well. What type of offensive weapons do they have, and where do they compare to some of the ones the Cowboys have already seen?
A.J. Brown is special, man. I don't see how Tennessee let that guy go. And the guy they drafted is Smith. He can go get it. They're nice route runners. With A.J. Brown is big, physical, and can hurt you. So we have to be, once again, disciplined, playing great technique and staying on these guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, all 3 of these pass catchers, they're the real deal. But to me, I'm not too heavily concerned about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. I feel as though Diggs and Anthony Brown can handle those guys. But to me, the X factor is going to be Dallas Goedert. All right, this guy, he's extremely fast, and he's a great route runner. So linebackers can't really handle him one-on-one. And if you put corners or safety on him, he's going to use his size out there, especially in the red zone. So to me, you got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to know where number 88 is at all times, because he has a chance to be a game wrecker.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm worried about all of them. Every single one of them. Simply because of the fact that A.J. Brown, he's a red zone type of threat. He can hit you on a big play, but he's a big body receiver that can body up all of our defensive backs, to be honest with you. Devontae Smith's their big play guy down the top, down the field, over the top of your defense if our safeties want to get nosy and try to affect this run game. And then Dallas Goedert, we saw it last week when in their game against the Cardinals, he will screen you to death in terms of him sitting out there in the bunch sets and getting the ball. And as you mentioned, against cornerbacks, they'll take those matchups all day long. I believe that they're going to try to keep it nice and short and high precision for these guys, because they're going to try to keep this rush of the Dallas defense off of their offense.
All right, Barry, I need you to keep it short and high precision on your own right. What type of challenges does this defense bring to the table?
Well, the Eagles defense, they bring a challenge because they're fast and physical on all 3 levels. And I think with the addition of Gardner Johnson and James Bradbury, it makes this secondary extremely formidable. So if I'm the Cowboys offense out there, I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing, leaning on our ground game and making high percentage throws with Cooper Rush when needed. If they can do that, I think they can pull out a victory this afternoon.
They've got a defensive line that is just so talented. They are one of 2 teams to have 13-plus sacks when they rush 4 guys or less. The only other team, the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons and company going to look to get after Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about that and look at the film when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas.
They really don't have a weakness. I think they have 3 really good receivers. They got a great group of backs. They got a quarterback who's been pretty phenomenal this year in terms of continuing plays, making big plays. He made a big jump from last year. You know, it's a big challenge. We played some really good offenses, so, you know, I think we up to it. We just got to go out there and fight.
In Micah Parsons' own words, what kind of challenge it will be for this Dallas defense to continue their momentum from the first 5 weeks of the season up against this Philadelphia offense. Back here with Isaiah Stanback with more Special Edition. And Isaiah, we're going to break down the film, but this Philly offense has so many weapons, so many opportunities to take advantage of the aggressiveness of this Dallas defense. How do they stay home and get home against Jalen Hurts and company?
They're going to have to be very disciplined, Kyle, and they're going to have to be patient, especially at the second level. Guys on our first level, okay, our defensive line, they can't jump around blocks. You can't try to flip a coin and hope that you choose right. They have to do a good job of 2-gapping, which is locking onto your offensive lineman and being able to look over both shoulders, being able to shed them based upon making the right decision. And at the second level, you can't let these guys get up to you and lock on or be chasing ghosts. We're going to see a little bit of what happened last week against the Rams that the Philadelphia Eagles might be circling as a potential opportunity for them. So right here, you guys are going to see a motion come in. And as soon as that motion comes out, what they're trying to do is draw Van Der Esch out the box. As soon as they're able to draw Van Der Esch out the box, how many guys does it turn into? Well, it turns into 1, 2, 3, 4 5-man box. Well, how many offensive linemen are there? Well, there's usually 5 offensive linemen. So that gives you great numbers on the interior box. And what you're going to see here is the Dallas Cowboys are going to be out leveraged, and they're going to open up a potential big play. Let's see it play out real quick. Here comes the motion across. You guys see Van Der Esch walk himself out the box. Here Dallas comes downhill. Pause it right there. Right now, everybody is locked up at the line of scrimmage. There's a man on, man on, man on, man on, and we have our defensive end that's coming outside. What happens when everybody is going man on, crossing face, going the opposite direction, and we have a defensive end that's coming around the edge? Well, unfortunately for Dallas, but fortunately for the Rams at this point in time, there's a huge cutback lane right here, and that's my number one concern. You see it right here, puts his foot in the ground, pause it right here. His vision is absolutely right here. There is a whole Red Sea for him to be able to expose. Luckily, the turf monster got him on this particular play. You guys see it here. We're able to get him, put our hands on him, put him at the end of the play, but ultimately, that's a big no-no and a huge opportunity for Philadelphia that they're definitely going to try to exploit.
So those cutback lanes were there against the Rams, and you were able to work back forward. And, I mean, that one specifically, you just basically got lucky that he didn't keep his footing. Going up against Philadelphia, you can't afford for that to happen because these guys are balanced, they're methodical, and they work their way down the field. What type of matchup are you looking at to try and close those gaps up as much as possible?
Yeah, well, one thing we know about Philadelphia is they have Jalen Hurts, and they have Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders in the backfield, and those guys are going to cause you a bunch of headaches because as a defensive end, you're now left in no man's land. Yeah. If you come downhill like you guys see right here, and he decides to creep down the line, then what's Jalen Hurts going to do? He's going to pull the ball, and he's out on the edge. Well, guess what? What if the defensive end goes upfield? Okay, well, now if he goes upfield and tries to play Jalen Hurts, now you have this running back coming down and across because you have the numbers inside the box. So it leaves you in a very bad predicament, but we're going to see an example right here of just how they can expose you in terms of them utilizing their cutback lanes. So go ahead and let it play out a little bit. We're going to go right here. Pause. Perfect. Pause it right there. What did I just say about the defensive end position? He's left in no man's land. He's trying to go that way to stop Jalen Hurts. He doesn't want to go this way and chase the dragon right here, so he has to stay put. That's how they're going to try to neutralize our Micah Parsons. And then right here at the offensive line position, what do you see happening? Okay, guys are locking up, and you got the offensive linemen working up to the linebackers. If they're able to work up to the linebackers, this linebacker now is left to make a decision. Do I want to go outside or do I want to shoot inside? If I go inside and I choose here, now what's the running back going to do? He's going to carry on outside, and there's nobody here because I have one of the biggest, strongest receivers in the league in A.J. Brown right here to go out here and block. Well, what if I go outside? Well, you're seeing it here. He's scraping here over the top, and now guess what? Everybody's getting widened. He's getting walled off, and what does that open up? It opens up a huge hole where? Backside, and you guys are going to see it right here where they do a good job of putting their foot in the ground. Let it play out. Boom, pause right there. As soon as he puts his foot in the ground right here, who has this area back here? Absolutely nobody. Everybody has a man on him downfield. He's blocked. Everybody's man on, and there's huge opportunities that they exploit right here against the Arizona Cardinals for a big play that puts them down there on the goal line, and that's what Dallas cannot allow to happen. We saw it last week against the Rams. Best believe if I saw it, they saw it as well. We have to make sure we take care of our assignments and be patient in our responsibilities.
Have to stay disciplined on defense and avoid those cutback lanes. That's a huge key to the win. But when we come back, we give our keys to victory. The Cowboys looking to go 5-1 and take over the lead in the division when we come back with more Special Edition.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
The winner of this matchup on Sunday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Eagles will own sole first place of the NFC East. And we've got a ton of keys for the Cowboys to win this ball game. Isaiah, I'll start with you.
Bend but don't break defense. Get your backs against the wall. Make them kick field goals.
Well, since you went defense, I'm going to go offense. Offensively, we got to win on first and second down. If we're able to do that, make those third down manageable, I think you get the best out of Cooper Rush. You don't want to see these Eagles defensive line pin their ears back. Got to win on first and second down.
Michael Gallup, C.D. Lamb, y'all have to catch the small ball. Y'all really have to catch the 5 and out, the 5 and in. Y'all got to help us keep drives alive and make plays for your quarterback.
Nate, do you think the Cowboys can get it done on Sunday night?
By one. By one. All we need is one.
Cowboys by one. Nate Newton, it's a tradition unlike any other. This is a rivalry unlike any other. Everyone will be watching this game. Prime time on Sunday Night Football. It's the Cowboys and the Eagles. We'll be here on DallasCowboys.com to break it down for you. For Isaiah, Barry, Nate, I'm Kyle. We'll see you next week with more Special Edition.